everyone, and welcome to another Star Wars Power Half Hour right here on the Contingency Plan Podcast. My name is David, and another Comic Book Wednesday is here. And we've got three great comics to go over with you today. Basically, I'm just going to jump straight into the series. We're not going to spend any time on news. Eventually, we'll get that in the main show on. We'll see you next Monday. It's been a little bit difficult here lately. A lot of stuff been going on between myself and the Darth. Just work and other projects. So we will get back into that as soon as we can. But so what do we have? We've got the third installment here of Target Vader. Very impressed by this series so far. I didn't really have super high hopes for it, but the more I read, the more I am interested. We have the second installment of Jedi Fallen Order Dark Temple, which is the accompanying comic to the upcoming Jedi Fallen Order video game, which will be coming out in November. And then finally, we have another installment into the Age of Resistance series, and this one is Kylo Ren. And let me see. Oh, yeah, so the title is Out of the Shadow for that one. Kylo, probably one of the more anticipated ones with or maybe slightly behind Snoke. So that one, definitely looking forward to talking with you about. So let's go ahead and just get right into it and start with Target Vader. Kind of a cool cover. We have what looks like a crashed tie here with Vader stepping out. He's got his lightsaber drawn, and our hero, was his name? It's been a while. Geez, it's been a few weeks. Valance. Pointing a blaster at him with fire going off in the background. So we start our comic with a little bit more backstory into Valance's past with the Empire. So we have Valance. You've been in Imperial service longer than any of us, and you've served the Empire with honor. You started as a pilot, and when you were blown out of the sky, you carried on as a grunt. You just kept going. You never gave up. And I wonder, as we sit here waiting to die, was it worth it? The Empire saved my family, soldier, and if I'm to die for them today, so be it. So we actually see the start of Valance's cybernetics here. He's got his cybernetic eye. And obviously, as we've seen in the previous comics, he's basically... getting to be a little bit more machine than man, but he's seemed to, he's had a hard time of it. So let's see here. We have a small group of Imperials here, and they're essentially being held up, basically getting ready to be executed. However, we have an intervention out of the smoke. Vader steps out, and Vader actually saves Valance and these troopers. Rise, troopers, the Empire marches on, which is a sweet panel. You have a Star Destroyer, two Star Destroyers, and several TIE fighters in the background. It's actually a really cool panel. That'd be a neat poster. And this does have a title, so The Trap. All right, so our group of bounty hunters are on Heva. And basically, we're in sort of like a kind of a depot here. We have a group of ships, and our bounty hunters are looking to procure these ships. However, the proprietor, I suppose, actually has a buyer. Someone from the rebellion. I know. Thought they were the good guys too. It's all a big secret. Hush, hush. Not supposed to say who the buyer is, but I like you. I trust you. Her name is Reback. Heard she's a tough customer. I don't really care as long as she's a paying customer. And we actually have Dengar here kind of speaking with the proprietor of this shipyard. And we start to get a little bit more into the questioning of the hidden hand. Now, while this is going on, looks like we have a little bit of spying here. One of our bounty hunters is up on the ridge with some binoculars, just kind of checking in on this conversation. Valance does eventually join the group here. Let's see here. Can you get them to fly? Would you look at this command center? All these drones can operate from here. And basically, they're attempting to use these ships as a part of the quote trap. But Valance points up in the air, and our proprietor of this shipyard, we're all going to die. And up in the sky, we have a Star Destroyer with Vader on it. A ship is approaching, sir, matches the description of the ship the bounty hunters previously used. There's no new message from your informant in their crew, and they're not answering any scramble the fighters. But it's just one ship, my lord. No, General. We are under attack. And we see the bounty hunter ship and several of these other drone ships here going towards Vader's ship. Dengar's on the ground here. He's a little he knows how to preserve himself. It's better to be down here than up there. So our bounty hunters and their little drone ships are actually taking quite a beating. You know what? I can't remember, and they're not. Oh, Urk, URR apostrophe K. That was the bounty hunter that was doing a little bit of the quote spying. Let's see. The broken wings face worse, but I need you to get up to the top gun and pick them off manually, Urk. And you don't have to speak Tusken when it's just us, kid. And then speaks Tusken again, which is good that we identified the lettering here. Tuskens never leave Tatooine, which you would know if you're really a Tusken. I don't care who you are underneath that getup. I just hope you're as good with a cannon as you are with your rifle. So Eric here, Valance kind of knows, he's saying, you're clearly not a Tusken. I don't really care who you are. Just get up to the cannon, which he does, and starts blasting some ties. But Vader is actually out in his tie now. And he's giving orders to clear a path for that ship. He's going directly for the ship. Now, Dengar, watching from the ground, looks like Valance is finally out of luck. Vader is shredding the drone fleet. I need to pull them back now. No, on my mark, not a second before. Sir, the drones are breaking off their attack run. What are they? Stay on the leader, said Vader. So Vader's tie fires a few shots, and it looks like Urk is actually, sort of blown out of his seat here. And Valance then gives his mark. And then the drones actually sort of start to form kind of a massive wedge and go directly for the Star Destroyer. And looks like it's incapacitated, falling from the sky. And the other ties are basically trying to get Vader to hey, look at the cruiser, man. It's going down. But Vader's still intent on taking down the broken wing or Valance's ship, which he does. He actually does shoot it. It goes down, damaged, and Vader exits his tie and approaches the ship. Goes in the cockpit, and no one's there. Upon exiting the ship, starts firing. We've got Dengar down here firing at Vader, and he says, "Okay, Valance, what now? Or now what?" And Valance, last panel here. Now we kill Darth Vader. So that's the end of the comic here. Looks like Vader's in a bit of a compromised position. He is in Valance's sights, rifle sights, looking up at him. And our bounty hunters still have a lot to cover here. And I apologize. I kind of glossed over it in the beginning. Valance is sort of was devising this plan to essentially disable the electrical components in Vader's suit. But it was pointed out, it's like, hey, you kind of got to be like right up at him. Nobody wants to do that. But again, this is all part of the plan. And that's kind of smart, though. I guess if you have to be right up on Vader, it's not so smart. But when you think about it, he is mostly machine, right? And if you were to somehow destabilize that machine, well, then Vader could potentially go down. But, we are in a, more advanced technological society here, so maybe there's some more shielding or something that would preclude that, but who knows. But I am liking this series, definitely looking forward to the next 3 comics in that series, and, we'll see the conclusion of that. But it's nice to get a little bit more Valance's back history with the Empire. And obviously that vendetta marches on. Let's go ahead and move on to the second issue of Jedi Fallen Order, Dark Temple. Now, the last time we left our Jedi Padawan here, she was incapacitated. Her and her master were basically accosted by some force, and a large explosion went off, and we left it on a cliffhanger. So we are now here on Onathal again with our Inquisitor. Inquisitor, this one is mine, as she stares down a dark figure with a blue lightsaber, who proves to be basically no match for the Inquisitor. You've been hiding too long, Jedi. You've been hiding too long, old Jedi. You've grown soft and slow. I expect more of my prey, old woman. Too slow, too soft. Force, give me strength. The Force has abandoned you. Maybe. But lucky for me, I always have a backup plan. And our, quote, Jedi here pulls out a blaster and shoots the Inquisitor's arm. And in retaliation, the Inquisitor cuts off her arm. A blaster? Jedi, where did you get that lightsaber, woman? Speak, and your pain will be brief. The temple. It was in the temple. Where is this temple? The area is secure. The insurgent cell was smaller than we expected. Any other survivors? That was one of the troopers coming. No, Inquisitor, they were. You'll never find it, Imperial scum. Well, that Inquisitor takes care of our potential pseudo Jedi here, or at least just an old woman with a lightsaber. That's kind of where we leave the Inquisitor. So the Inquisitor is still looking for this temple. However, as we're seeing here from the chronological, I don't remember if this was the same thing, if they had really pointed that out in the previous comic, but that was years later from our storyline here with our Jedi Padawan. So we change tact onto Thal years earlier. And let's see, our Padawan is in a cell. Oh, you're finally awake. We have a droid here. I wasn't so sure you were alive. They told me to stand watch until you woke up, even though I reminded them that you might die in your sleep from your injuries. But I didn't. Our Padawan gets a hold of her lightsaber through the Force, hacks through the bars, and then is confronted by several folks here. Jedi, stand down. We do not want trouble. Then perhaps you shouldn't have attacked me and taken me prisoner, or come with blasters, as she casually cuts the blaster in half. A little tip, next time you capture a Jedi, don't leave their lightsaber anywhere they can see it. which is true. Now we have another character coming in. They meant it, you know. We did not mean to cause you any trouble. Please lower your laser sword. We are not your enemy, master. You attacked my caravan and took me prisoner. No, that's your response? We did not attack your caravan. Man, I can't talk. Quite the opposite. In fact, it is true. One of my men was overzealous and struck you on the head, I'm afraid. And for that, I apologize. He was scared and he made a mistake. Yet you still took me prisoner after that. Did you try the door before you burned your way out of your cell? Which she didn't. So the door wasn't locked. They didn't technically take her prisoner. They were trying to just give her a place to sleep it off, I guess. But perhaps we can start again. I don't even know your name, Master. My name is God. I can't remember how I pronounce this last time. Cere. Siri. Siri. Yeah, that's what I was calling her. I was calling her Siri. Don't let the phone hear that. Siri Junda. And I'm not a Jedi Master. I am still a Padawan. It is my honor to meet you, Siri Junda. My name is Narella. Welcome to Phylar. And this is some of these panels from Phylar are really beautiful. You have these jagged rock formations intermixed with metal and a bright sun in the background. It's actually really pretty. So basically, we get a little bit of a backstory here from Narella about Phylar. Some of these things get to be a tongue twister when you're reading them, but that's the magic of naming conventions in Star Wars. Basically, describing them as a peaceable people. The Phylari keep to ourselves. When your Republic came along and asked us to join, there was nothing they could offer. But now this DA and the Ontithal government wish. But am I boring you, Jedi? So Siri sees a group of children here, and one of them's holding this kind of little creature. And the boy informs Siri that he's sick. I'm telling him he will be okay. He can understand you. I think so. He stopped crying. I just wanted to help. That was very kind of you. What is that creature? A muskteeve. Okay. They live all around. And can you normally communicate with them? No, but many Phylari children, they have connections to the land, the creatures. It has always been this way. And so this is interesting because, in the first comic, Master Cordova and Siri had this whole realization that the Force was so strong here that, they couldn't even really feel each other. It was almost overwhelming. So I guess growing up in this, they've had this connection with the land, with the creatures. So that bond is there, maybe being of that Force-sensitive category. Let's see. Now, Siri does say, the Force is strong here. Yes, overwhelmingly so. I have been trying to reach out and find my master with it, but I cannot make any sense of it. Your master was with you in the attack? Yes, why? There are still some loyal to Phylar who live in Ontithal, and they listen. After the attack, there's no easy way to tell you this. And then the droid steps in. So I'm gonna be a little bit a little bit blunt. So ever since Rogue One, when we had K2SO, who was your sassy your sassy reprogrammed Imperial droid, we've had this steady dose of sassy, blunt droids that are almost to the point of comic relief. We had the droid from Solo, K3 or wow, I'm really blanking on that, but the revolutionary droid, and again, while the Imperial torture droid from Alphabet Squadron. So we continue to have these droids just continually butt in, and it's kind of part of the history because C-3PO even did his, had his hand, and R2 could be a little sassy, but I kind of like get slightly annoyed when we continually have like just these random interruptions from droids all the time. It's almost like it's too much. Like everyone has to have this super sassy droid. So we have another one, and the droid then says, out of turn, everybody died, your master included. That wasn't difficult. Okay, moving on. So unfortunately, it looks like, or at least it appears as though Master Cordova perished in the explosion. So hours later, deep in the Fylar forest, they come upon what appears to be the, excuse me, still getting over that cough, appears to be the temple that everybody is looking for. It's beautiful. The Fylari built it. We do not know who built it or why, but the Fylari have protected it as far back as our history tells us. And now Delanto DA wants access to what is yours. It isn't ours. It is simply part of our land and history, and therefore we will continue to protect it, nothing more. The DA Corporation doesn't wish to damage the temple, just explore it. That's what they all say. Our agreement with the Yontathal government is unsteady, but for now, they respect our beliefs that sometimes history should be left buried. If he were still alive, Master Cordova would disagree with you. So you think the DA attacked his own people and framed you to make the Yontathal end the agreement. Some of the attackers were killed by our people. One of them wore the marks of DA on his clothes, which she procures one of the uniforms here. So this is interesting. We have a little bit of potential corporate greed. We have a people that's. It actually kind of reminds me of crossing fandoms here. Insurrection, because I just recently watched it. So Star Trek Insurrection, the movie where you had a group of like non-indigenous people, they go to this planet and it has like some Fountain of Youth property, and then another group of aliens is like coming in to take it because they want to like be forever young, and blah, so anyway, they're trying to do it all covertly. So kind of looks like this corporation is trying to frame the Fylari, potentially so that they can move in and either learn the secrets of the temple or whatever. I mean, whatever secrets there might be here. So this is something to keep an eye on. Now, Siri wants to basically get in contact with the Republic, as she should. She's a Padawan. She's potentially alone. Her master is, possibly dead. And we're dealing with potential corruption here. So she is going back to Yontathal, the city. Our droid here is following her. This isn't an idea that's supported by the Fylari. It's just kind of like, we can't communicate, but we don't really advise you to go back to the city because, we believe there's corruption there. But Siri, being very strong-willed, goes. Creates a little distraction here to get into the ventilation system and winds up, getting in and sort of listening into a council meeting here. And we have our leader of our corporation that we actually met in the first comic that sent her out on her way. And we have a little bit of talking to. So here we go. That is why I'm here today asking for your help. I have the security forces needed. I have the crew. Give me permission to go back into Fylar and finish what those brave men and women started. Help me honor their sacrifices by finishing this exploration. Say no more. The DA Corporation has the full support of Unified Yontathal Chairman. Thank you, Peacemaker. Now Siri drops out, which is just straight out. Excuse me, if I could have a moment of your time. What is the meaning of this? This is Padawan Junda, the Jedi who went missing. As I assume you know, the caravan I was traveling with was attacked. My master, Eno Cordova, is missing, presumed dead. We were just discussing this, Jedi. The Phylari will not get away with... I don't believe the attack came from the Phylari. It came from somewhere much closer to you. I need to contact the Jedi Council. A full investigation is required. Councilman, this is a shocking accusation. Summon the chief of security. So our chairman is he's such a sleazeball. He's just smiling through all of this. Peacemaker, if I may, perhaps a Padawan has a theory as to who did attack my men on Phylar and not the Phylari themselves. As a matter of fact, Dilanto, there we go. I do. This was taken off the body of one of those attackers. Can you explain why they might be wearing your uniforms? You believe my own men attacked themselves. Why would they do that? To gain sympathy from the Ontathal Parliament and cast the Phylari hostile and unreasonable. That's absurd. So we have the security force kind of coming in here. A Republic court can decide that. Security, take this man into custody. Now, unfortunately, Siri's kind of underestimated the corruption here because our chairman, Delanto Da, so I'm going to stop saying DA, I'm just going to say Da because it looks like a part of the chairman's name. Delanto Da has no need to trick us, you silly girl. He is a great friend to the Ontathal people, and we to him. Please take Padawan Junda into detention. She's unwell. So the chairman does say here, I need the support of the Republic. You are making that very difficult. Please turn over your lightsaber. And then at that point, Siri just starts hacking. Because we have, looks like these are mostly droids. So she's fighting her way out. They're trying to blast her. The chairman, stop her. Don't let her escape. So she fuses the door, encounters our sassy robot out here, sassy droid. And, unfortunately, there are more security forces. She tells the droid to go back to Phylar as she holds off the security forces. Oh, no, I dropped my comic and lost my place. There we go. So back on a day later on Phylar, are you sure this is wise? What happened to the Jedi is not our fight. It will be soon, Moro. Would you rather get ready for a war that doesn't come or be asleep when one does? So we have our meeting of the Phylari here, and they're basically trying to decide on whether, they really need to enter this conflict. And unfortunately, it's like it's coming, so we have to. Everyone is ready, Norella, but they aren't an army. They're just scared people. Do you really think they have a chance against what is coming? And we get a yes off in the distance as Siri steps forward. Thought for sure you were dead. Why aren't you dead? Sassy robot. I know you don't care for outsiders here, but I think you're going to need my help if you want to win this fight. So that's the end of our Jedi Fallen Temple. So very cool. And Siri seems to be coming into her own a lot here. When we first met her, she was, essentially out of control. Now she has a cause to fight for. However, we could kind of debate a little bit about the merits of her fight. Jedi are supposed to be peacekeepers, so on and so forth. But she's in her element here. She's a warrior. And she's ready to help the Phylari fight. And we will see how that wraps up in the next couple comics. Whew. It's been a marathon, but we are one comic away from finishing the episode. We are going to now hop into Age of Resistance Kylo Ren. Pretty cool cover. And it does give a lot of foreshadowing into what we're going to see here. So we've got kind of like a fiery golden Vader helmet in the background and Kylo Ren in the foreground with his saber. Unmasked. And again, this was Out of the Shadow, The son of smuggler Han Solo and Princess Leia Organa, Ben Solo was once one of the most promising of the new generation of Jedi. That is, until his uncle Luke, Jedi Master Luke Skywalker, sensed the dark side in Ben. Since then, Ben has abandoned the ways of the Jedi. As Kylo Ren of the villainous First Order, he now walks the dark path. So a couple of things. We start here in Wild Space, which is pretty cool. And we meet a new character, Captain Rutherford. And he's an old trooper here. We have new armor, sir. You don't have to wear that. I'm wearing old armor because I'm an old soldier. It's been a long time since I had to suit up. This is familiar, and I should be allowed a certain degree of comfort. And is it comfortable? Honestly, it's a bit snug. So he's donning some old Imperial armor here. He has his officer's mark here, but he's a scarred veteran, man. He's a scarred guy. And I think I remember a few people on Twitter talking about, is he a clone? I don't think that's the case. I think he'd be very, very old at that point. So I think he's just, an old Imperial. Probably came through with maybe, Ray Sloan or maybe was something as a part of the remnant. I could only assume that once Sloan got out into the unknown region, wild space, and had the makings of the start of the First Order, she would have tried to recruit some of the Imperial remnants out there. So we've just got an old Imperial soldier here. Our next sheet, I will inform Kylo Ren. So we have Kylo with his shirt off. Just levitating everything. Puts on his helmet and steps out. And it looks like we are getting ready for negotiation. We're on a planet here. They've erected a tent for the negotiation. And our forces are in place if the negotiation fails, Admiral. And we turn to our old trooper here. Captain, you are the only soldier left alive from the last battle here. How did you survive? Dumb luck, mostly. I doubt that. You will accompany and advise. So now we start to see parallels. And basically this planet here, at one point, Darth Vader led the Imperials to this planet to fight. And we have these two similar panels here with Kylo leading the First Order and then Vader leading the Imperials. But apparently Vader had failed in taming this planet. But Kylo will not fail. I'm not sure you can say he failed. He did manage to subdue them. But still, we are walking in Darth Vader's shadow. This is the field where he fought. There is glory here. Glory? Nah, there's none of that buried out there. There are only wasted lives. This captain's bold. He's, Kylo we know is being, kind of fanatical, definitely hard to deal with, but from more and more media, we see so much of the fanatical nature of the First Order, and it's like saying this sort of stuff is like blasphemy. But the captain obviously can get away with that. What do I need to know about the Benathi? They're a proud race, stubborn. They value size and strength above all else, which is why I have come, says Kylo. And then the captain's like, oh. So the Benathi here are a large race, and we meet one of them here, and he's got a necklace of Imperial troop helmets, very tall, very large, and we have his name is King Kristoff. King Kristoff. That name just doesn't seem to fit for me, but okay. So the king here advises Kylo to take a seat in this giant chair, but he declines. No, I don't think so. You would have me looking like an infant. You have wiped out all life on 4 nearby planets. They were very small planets. You are expanding. You will stop. And the king here, I remember when another like you came here with demands. He was taller, far more impressive. He killed our last king, but even he could not stand against our God. Kylo, he put you down. We got back up. So Kylo attempts to do a a mind trick on him. You will stop your expansion. You will submit to the First Order. He says it twice, and then the king here, who is not a weak of mind, just saying the same thing slower doesn't make you seem more persuasive, boy. It just makes you sound slower. The captain does warn the king here, don't annoy him. Why should I not? Well, Kylo's a bit touchy. So he plunges his lightsaber through the king's head, kills him, and then, goes and basically kills the rest of the folks here in the tent. Just hacks them to pieces. Gross. So anyway, Kylo steps out on the field of battle, I just completely forgot their names. Bethany. Benathi. There we go. So the Benathi here sound the horn, and we begin the battle. So over the course of the next 2 pages here, we have again we have this parallel. So they're mirroring each other: Darth Vader and Kylo Ren, the Empire and the First Order. And it's actually really cool. They're doing, they're out there fighting, using the Force, hacking and slashing. And finally, in the last panel, Kylo says, "It's here, their God." And we see a Zillo Beast, and we've seen this in, let's see, was it Rebels or was it Clone Wars? Maybe I want to. I've just been rewatching some of Clone Wars and Rebels, so I can't remember which one off the top of my head. I've never been real attentive to the cartoon series, but I do enjoy probably Rebels more. I want to say it was Clone Wars, but either way, we've seen the Zillo Beasts. You understand Zillo Beasts are unbreakable, yes? And Kylo says nothing's unbreakable. He asks for a shuttle, and basically, the First Order's trying to attack the Beast, and it won't go down. It was Clone Wars. So anyway, Kylo does something crazy. He dives out of the shuttle and gets swallowed by the Zillo Beast. So the captain here on the ground takes off his helmet. "Nice one, kid. Way to get eaten. I'm sure your granddad would be really impressed. Hey, Admiral, your leader's been swallowed. Can I suggest we look out?" And we have Kylo ripping through the Zillo Beast. The Zillo Beast. Okay, so if I'm remembering Clone Wars lore, the way that the planet that had these things originally, what they would do is they would burn them out with fuel. But externally, they couldn't be brought down with energy weapons. But apparently internally they can, I guess. So yeah, Kylo, the one-man wrecking crew, escapes the stomach of the Zillo and expounds, "Your God is dead. You worship only the First Order." You know how I said it wasn't a competition? Yes. Well, you won. That gives Kylo a little bit of a smile here. So we've seen with Kylo this sort of, I don't know if it's a want to top Vader, but definitely he idolizes in a way. It's like hero worship. And he was able to do something that Vader wasn't necessarily able to do. I mean, Vader was able to put down the Benthani, but he wasn't able to fully make them submit. But now Kylo did. He killed their, quote, God and subdued them. So good job, Kylo. I don't know 100% what I was expecting out of that comic. I guess you can't give too much away because obviously the Rise of Skywalker is supposed to do that for us, right? But I don't know. It's a good little story. It's just hard. Comics are so small. I wish they were always longer. I wish there was more to them, but it was cool. But again, it's drawing that parallel, and it kind of makes you think, because like obviously Vader at the end was, kind of quote redeemed, at least to the eyes fluke. Oh, excuse me, getting a little late in the night. time for bedtime. But again, they're drawing those parallels between Kylo Vader, and the big question now is will Ben be redeemed? Will we get Ben-demption? And I don't know. I think we're being baited a bit. We're seeing a lot of these parallels. We're seeing a lot of potential for it, but I'm good without Ben-demption. But when episode 9 comes out, we shall see. So anyway, folks, hopefully you enjoyed running through some of these comics with me. Again, it's been fun riding along and reading these and going to a local comic book store, which is not something that's been typical for me throughout my life. But I am enjoying these little snippet stories, and we will be back, of course, with far more every week. So again, hopefully you enjoy these, and we're going to go ahead and get signed off here. So have a great rest of your week, everyone. Make sure to leave any comments, out there. Give me any thoughts you have with this. Twitter's probably the best place to do it, but you can also do it through Facebook, or through the email, tcplanpodcast@gmail.com. But you guys have a great rest of your week. We'll see you when we have a new episode out. But anyway, may the Force be with you.